About the headlines surrounding other phases of boxing rather than covering the boxers themselves. Here's the reaction.
Well, when you're talking about $21 million and the fight that I'm fighting now, it has a little more bearing than what I'm doing. But as far as I'm concerned, my fight is the biggest thing going right now, and I'll continue to train, continue to fight.
Well, in a way, in some point in a way. But, you know, I can't let anything like that bother me. Distract my mind, keep my mind off my job. So, you know, if I wasn't fighting anything, I can tell you more about it.
You're considered one of the up-and-coming contenders. This is an important stepping stone for you. Should launch you into the top 5 and probably a shot at the championship very soon. How do you measure the importance of this fight?
Well, this fight is very important. Like all fights are important to all fighters. And I feel this fight right here is more important to me because it's a test and it's a chance for me to really sell myself and plus get this USBC championship and plus maybe get a shot at one of the 2 heavyweights, Holmes or either Mike Weaver.
Angelo Dundee and Gil Clancy. Angelo, you and I were in Louisville when Greg Page made his professional debut. He's unbeaten in 13 fights now. How do you rate him among the heavyweights? Where is he?
Very impressive young man. He's just touching the door right now to get into the fight the better fighters in his division.
I know that you think a lot of Stan Ward.
Well, when I trained George Foreman, I used Stan Ward as a sparring partner. He was the toughest sparring partner George had. He's very, very dangerous when you trap him against the ropes or in a corner. That way he has to fight. Outside of that, he can be a reluctant dragon. It's going to be a tough fight for Page, but I like that youth and talent. I'm going for Page.
All right, we'll be back with round number 1 in just a moment. Well, the fighters are receiving their instructions. The referee in this fight will be Paul Venti. The judges are Eva Shane and Milo Savage here in New Jersey. And in the USBA championship scoring, it will be the round system with a supplemental 5-point must system. If the fight winds up in a draw after the 12 rounds at 6-6, then they would revert to the supplemental scoring system for each round to try and determine a winner. If that still produces a draw, then they will have a box-off. They will fight a 13th round and indeed keep fighting until 15 rounds to determine a winner. Greg Page in white, currently ranked number 4 by the WBA, number 4 by the USBA, and number 9 by the WBC. A record of 13-0 according to Ring Magazine with 12 knockouts. Stan Ward, 13-3-2, 6 knockouts according to Ring. He is ranked number 8 in the world by the World Boxing Council, number 9 in the USBA. Currently the California State Heavyweight Champion. 28 years of age from Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Greg Page is 22 from Louisville.
If I was in Page's corner, I'd already be concerned because when he throws that left jab, he's keeping that right hand very, very low. And as I mentioned earlier, Ward can't come up with that big left hook on occasion. Watch where that right hand goes when he throws that jab. There it is, down around his trunks. Would that make you nervous, Ange?
No, Ward has a unique way of slipping punches. And Page's got to be very careful about falling in with this guy because he's very dangerous in close, like you brought out. He's a good puncher in close. He's knocked out a lot of good fighters in close.
Stan Ward stands 6'2". He weighed in at 232 1/4. Greg Page at 228 3/4.
You know, gentlemen, we're entering the age of the super heavyweight because we have 2 big fellas in there, and Page makes the Ward look a little fella, like a little fella. He's a big fella.
He has the weight advantage, Ward does, and Page has the height advantage of about 1 inch. Stan Ward, an Army brat, his father a career Army man, born in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Crowd getting into things. The remarks of champion Larry Holmes, you may hear those occasionally. He is at ringside. Ward on the attack, good counter-punching by Page.
All right, break. Step out, man.
WBC champion Larry Holmes, and throughout the undercard here today, he's been keeping the crowd amused with his counsel to the fighters during the action. Under a minute to go, round 1.
Page has excellent fast hands, good balance. His only problem is when he falls in, he lets himself open for punches. He's got a cut mouth already from a result of a couple of shots in close.
He stuck his tongue out at Ward to let him know that he had the cut mouth. Shouldn't be doing that. You find that Ward doesn't lead too much. He waits. But then all of a sudden he can lash out and be very, very dangerous.
Under 30 seconds to go in the first round. Stan Ward with a victory over WBA heavyweight champion Mike Weaver, which Weaver later wins. Good right hand with victories over Mac Foster. Jeff Merritt also along the trail in his 13 victories. Final seconds of round 1.
Ward has a...
There's WBC heavyweight champion Larry Holmes at ringside. We're in round number 2. This is scheduled for 12 for the USBA heavyweight championship.
I didn't realize Ward was that slick for a big man, Gil. He gives you a lot of moves, a lot of slides, and he tries to set you up with a good counter shot in there. I'm very impressed the way he's handling this kid.
Ward with a slight cut in the corner of his left eye suffered late in round 1. And we noted some blood from the mouth of Greg Page. Not a great deal, nothing serious.
Ward has a lot of experience, Angelo. He doesn't have that many fights, but he's been in the gym. He stays in the gym, stays in condition. As I say, I used him with George Foreman for quite some time, and he was in that gym every day working hard.
If he survived George, you know he must be okay, Gil.
Survived George? He used to give George all kinds of fits.
That warning to Page from referee Paul Venti for holding behind the head, as you saw it signaled.
I think Page remembers the Olympic days, because when he was told about the warning, he bowed to the referee.
Yes.
I think that was class, really.
Ward just missing with that right hand, just grazed the cheek of Greg Page. Both these boxers born in Kentucky, but Ward now a resident of Sacramento, California. Out comes a mouthpiece
of Greg Page. He landed the punch and his mouthpiece came out.
Yeah, because of the cut mouth. He's having trouble holding that mouthpiece in. It's a plastic mouthpiece, and it can't be held in that good. That's why I always like the rubber mouthpiece, Gil.
Same thing with me, Ed. You know that.
Greg Page is managed and trained by his uncle, Dennis Page. Ward's manager is Murray Goodman, well-known boxing promoter. Not promoter, pardon me, publicist. Correct that for Murray. Boxing publicist, been around the game a long time. George Benton is his trainer. Bill Slayton also working the corner. Ward using all 232 pounds on Page in the corner right above us, leaning on him.
Well, this is the strength of a mature man going against a young kid, and he's using every ounce of it in close and trying to hurt him downstairs. The cut has been worse than the left eye. I think it's right in the corner.
Well, Bill Slayton did a good job in the first round, Ange. I think he'll be able to control it unless it does break wide open.
That's that flick and jab of Page. I think he sort of copied it after Muhammad.
Under 30 seconds to go, round 2 scheduled for 12. We are live from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Tim Ryan with Gil Clancy and Angelo Dundee. Final seconds of round 2.
Great job being done in the corner between rounds by Slayton. He put the pressure in the cut, put the coagulant in, put more pressure, and he stopped the bleeding.
That's the cut in the corner of the left eye of Stan Ward in blue. Greg Page in white from Louisville. We're in the 3rd round of the scheduled 12-rounder. Page ranked number 4 in the world by the WBA. Ward number 8 in the world by the World Boxing Council.
This fight reminds me of the Jeff Merritt fight, Gil, because remember his eye blew way up, Stan Ward, then he came back and he knocked out Jeff Merritt.
He's capable of knocking anybody out if he hits him right on the button.
Yeah, but he's doing a smart thing by sticking out his left hand and trying to keep Greg Page off balance.
There is blood again from that cut.
Meanwhile, Page is doing a paint job with that left hand, though, Edge. If he keeps that up, he's going to bust Ward all up.
It's a great left hand. And his eye's starting to blow up underneath now, Gil. The same problem he had with the Merritt fight.
Funny thing with Ward's style, you know, if you can tell him, okay, look, they may stop the fight. You're going to have to go out and try to get this guy out of there. But his style just isn't leading. He just doesn't lead that much.
Well, he's doing a pretty good job of cutting off the ring on Greg.
Well, he's trying. Yes, he is. But Greg's got those great legs.
Greg Page unbeaten in 13 fights, 12 knockouts, has not beaten anybody of any real significance. His best victory was here on CBS over George Chaplin. Last fight, a 6th-round knockout over Dave Johnson last October.
In that fight, he survived a few anxious moments, Tim. He was wobbling around like he was on a ship.
Tough exchange by both fighters in the far corner.
Very dangerous. Leading with that right hand uppercut, Angie. If you got nailed doing that, we'd be counting for 50.
He's better keep doing his thing, boxing and moving. That's his thing. That's the only way to stay out of that. Trying to throw it right there.
Straight right hand lead from Ward, rocked him.
That woke him up. He stopped showboating now.
No, and he stopped. He was looking to lead with that right uppercut.
That's right. That's just what we pointed out, Ange. Most dangerous punch in boxing, trying to throw a right uppercut lead.
We're under a minute to go in this third round. Best punch of the fight thrown by Ward.
This is experience. Ward's putting his body into play, leaning on him, got his feet in position, and Greg Page got his legs straight out there, laying on the ropes.
That's right. Yeah, you have to stick You have to stick that left foot in front of you, Ange.
Final seconds of the third round coming up.
There's Greg Page's right hand down, looking to throw that uppercut. Bam, right on the chin.
Great shot from Stan Ward. Don't forget that Daytona Twin 125 next Saturday, and then the Daytona 500 next Sunday here on CBS Sports. We're in the fourth round of the scheduled 12-rounder for the USBA Heavyweight Championship. Both these fighters are ranked in the top 10 of the world, trying to get higher. For Greg Page, as Angelo Dundee said, kind of graduating out of high school into college today with the experienced Stan Ward. Ward with only 17, make it 19 fights in his professional career, but a lot of time in the gym, as Gil Clancy has explained, with a lot of top, tough heavyweights, including George Foreman.
Well, also, you got to remember, a lot of guys that want to fight Stan Ward, because whenever you fight a Stan Ward, you got all kinds of trouble, because he's a very dangerous young man. He's strong, and he can punch.
A lot of fighters would be discouraged after they hit a guy on the chin with their best shot and nothing happens, but I don't think that'll happen to Ward. I think he'll keep pitching as long as he can.
Well, Gil, I think it was more that Page was off balance. It was higher in the cheekbone. The shot wasn't that good like it looked when we first looked at it. The replay was dynamite.
Fourth round action. Page in white, Stan Ward in blue.
That's a dangerous uppercut.
Both fighters going to the canvas as Page tried to move off the ropes. He was tied up by Ward, and it became a wrestling match. Two big men, 230-pounders. The cut in the corner of the left eye of Stan Ward so far has not become a big factor, but of course it very well may be as the fight goes along.
That cut mouth is not going to help Greg Page also, because he's starting to breathe badly from the mouth, and he's starting to bleed pretty good from it.
That's right. He has that mouth open wide. It's not good for his breathing at all. It causes him to get tired.
More swelling now, however, under that left eye of Stan Ward, near the cut in the corner. Starting to puff up noticeably.
Right now, though, Tim, Page is the more tired of the two fighters.
Right hand lead from Ward landed.
There's that experience, Hans.
Slipping away from the punches, you're right. He did a good job in close. They're sure moving good for two big fellas, really.
Sure are.
We're in the final seconds now of the fourth round. Live from Atlantic City, New Jersey, Greg Page and Stan Ward. Bill Slayton working on Stan Ward in the corner, does a good job with that little cut in the corner of his eye, and we are ready to go with round number 5. Tim Ryan, Gil Clancy, Angelo Dundee, live from Resorts International in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Scheduled for 12 rounds.
I thought he was working on the swelling more than he was on the cut. He's got the cut under control. It's not a small, it's about an inch gash, but he's got it under control.
Good start in this 5th round for Greg Page.
It may be a good start, but he still has that right hand down where he shouldn't have it. That would worry the heck out of me. If I was his trainer, I'd probably have white hair by now.
Yeah, but Gil, you know, when you get these kids who are used to keeping those hands in that type of position, you try to get them to conform to the ordinary, then they louse up. I did that with Muhammad one night, and he got hit more punches than if he kept it down.
So you're saying you got to leave Greg Page alone, leave him alone with his style?
Yeah,
or if you had him, would you work on him?
No, you got to leave him alone. What about...
From Ward again.
What about throwing that right hand uppercut, Ange? Would you leave him alone from that, too?
Oh, no, I get rid of that. I tell him to throw that go in close. Yeah, I get rid of that, certainly.
Well, one thing we found out, Greg Page can take a heck of a shot because he got hit.
I'd like to alert our stations along the line. There'll be a station break at the end of this round.
It's an excellent, good fight. I really enjoyed watching this fight and talking about it, Gil. The moves that Stan Ward's giving him, he's not going to get from other heavyweights because Stan Ward's a very slick guy, in and out, side to side, and he really punishes you.
If Page passes this test, Angie's well on his way to a title fight.
Ward's really using every ounce of his weight and keeping him pinned on the ropes.
Break, stop out.
Little great move with his elbow, too, there, Gil, pushing him in with it.
Under a minute to go in the fifth round. 232 1/4 pounds, Stan Ward, and Greg Page just under 230 at 228 3/4.
I tell you, Greg is smart in mid-ring, keeping him at his distance.
You notice that time, though, Ward landed a good stiff jab, and it really shook Page a little bit. Maybe that bouncing around is starting to get those legs a little tired, Ange.
Well, that does. I mean, as you go along, your legs are tired naturally. But youth takes care of a lot of evils.
22-year-old.
You still remember that?
What's the name of that song? Memories?
Less than 30 seconds to go in round 5. Today's CBS Sports Spectacular will continue after this word from your local station. We are live from the Superstar Theater of Resorts International Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. This is round number 6, scheduled for 12 for the USBA heavyweight title. Greg Page in white, Stan Ward in blue.
Ward's looking to nail him with a right hand, Gil. He's slipping that jab downstairs. He's going to try to nail Greg Page with a right hand. He's setting it up.
Good combination from Page. Still bouncing. 6 rounds into this fight.
Ward hasn't thrown a punch this round. He's just believe it or not, putting pressure on without throwing a punch. Notice he hasn't thrown a punch. There's the first punch he threw.
And he landed the left of the body. Little blood now again from that cut in the corner of Ward's left eye, but it has not become serious thus far. Bill Slayton in his corner, as Angela pointed out, has done a good job with it.
Here's Ward against the ropes. He's a patient fighter.
He slipped. And now he's looking to nail him with a shot in between the slips. They have never come because of the quickness of Page.
There it was. That's the shot he was waiting all. He's waiting all around to land that one big one and missed it.
Unlike too many boxers, Ward, an exceptional all-around athlete in his high school days. Basketball, football, baseball. Started boxing in 1969 at junior college.
He's looking for that right hand again, Gil. Belly jab, belly jab. Now he's going to try to nail him with the right hand.
Under a minute to go, round 6.
You can see that he's not too concerned with Page's punching power, Ange. He's letting Page take shots at him, looking to nail him with that big one.
There goes the right hand. Right hand counter was a beauty.
Beautiful right hand counter. That was textbook. Blocked Page's right hand with the left hand. I came back with a right hand counter. That was beautiful.
We're under 30 seconds to go in the 6th round.
Hold it. Close that glove. Don't open the glove. Let's go.
Well, you could hear that clearly. The warning from Paul Venti. Greg Page for punching with his glove open. Of course, the danger in there comes from the thumb primarily, and when that glove is open. Final seconds of the 6th round. Round number 7 of this 12-round USBA heavyweight title fight, live from Atlantic City. Tim Ryan with Gil Clancy and Angelo Dundee. Stan Ward in the blue trunks, Greg Page in white.
The eyes starting to close a little bit more each and every round. They better start concentrating on putting pure ice on that eye, but it's going to close otherwise.
Ange, if I was in Ward's corner, I'd say, look, let's really try to make this a war and get this guy out of there. No sense fooling around with this eye anymore. He'll be under some handicap if the eye closes completely.
Yeah, it's starting to swell nosebleed now.
There's that right hand. Oh, that worries me.
Stan Ward, a psychology major at Sacramento State College. His wife Candace, a school teacher. Bright, interesting guy, and in a tough business trying for the U.S. title today.
Page is a very cool young man, Gil. He was sitting on the stool and he looked at me and he gave me a wink like I got it under control.
Well, he better not be cool now. He better spin this guy out of there to get out of that corner. But the work.
You're right, Gil. You don't belong there.
Both fighters scoring inside.
He's a too big, strong man. Seems to me they were both working then. What do you think, Ange?
I don't think he should have broke him then. They were both taking shots at each other and both working. Page looking to work on that eye, Gil. It's really starting to blow up now. Start to bleed again.
And closing rapidly now here in the 7th round. Swelling from underneath and now above the eye. Coming to the end of round number 7.
Hold it, somebody. Step out.
We've still got a minute to go in the 7th round.
You know, Ange, when I was working in the corner with fighters, I always carried a silver dollar with me because sometimes, even when the ice doesn't work or anything else, you take that silver dollar, get it good and cold, and apply that with pressure, and that can open up an eye. Have you ever tried that, Ange?
I've tried that, yeah. It works, Gil. But what I usually do a lot of times is get pure ice and pressure on it.
When Angie used it, he got 50 cents back in change.
Gil would probably rob for 50 cents.
Rev, watch that jab. Watch that jab. He's opening that hand, Ruff.
Well, twice in succession now, Ward's been able to bully Page into the corner, and Page has been content to stand there and fight inside with him.
Well, what?
Now he's out in the final seconds now of the 7th round. Close look at Stan Ward's eye, puffing up and closing rapidly. Well, the corner, Bill Slayton, Stan Ward called the referee over, Paul Venti, to show him the cut. They were concerned about it in Ward's corner. The referee agreed with them, and this fight is over. And the U.S. heavyweight champion is Greg Page from Louisville, Kentucky. A technical knockout at the end of the 7th round as Ward was unable to come out for the 8th round. And his own corner showing some compassion and certainly some intelligence, gentlemen, in not allowing Stan to go out there. That was, cut was just simply too severe.
Not only the cut was severe, Tim, but he was also very, very tired going back at the end of the round. I mentioned it to Angelo. He had to hold on to the rope to walk back. So I guess between that and the fact that the eye was closing, you just about see, they decided to call it a night.